All right, peace and blessings, blessings and peace. My name is Jormel Reese, and I am today holding it down for my man Karaji Yashar from Black Scribe Publishing. And today, what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the book, The Violet Lighthouse. Man, I was one of plenty of people who was able to get the chance to be able to read this book. This book was definitely a page turner where I couldn't stop. Once I started reading the book, I didn't put it back down. It really touched me in a different kind of way. And so today, what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually bring on other people who have read the book as well. And so today, we're going to bring on Carlos, who was able to actually read the book as well. So I want you guys to be able to welcome Carlos as he's coming on today. Hey, Carlos, man, how you doing today?
How you doing, champ?
Man,
I'm
I can't.
blessed, man.
Hey, you no doubt, man. Hey, look, that's the only way to be, ain't it? The only way to be.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Hey, can you tell us a little bit about yourself, and then also how you were able to even get the book and different things like that. So talk about your business, what it is you do, and then how you actually got a hold of this read.
Okay, that's a long story, but I'll try to keep it short.
Yes, please,
Um,
please.
I, I originally met Karaj as Mr. McLean in a transition house on my way in a work release center when I was getting ready to be released out of prison. He was
Mm,
actually one of our counselors, and I used to challenge him in class, and from there we became good friends. Even after my release, we kept in contact, and we actually became almost like brothers. And so he has been a guide throughout my entire release. So he's been great. He's been a great help. Um, what I do for a living is I have a lawn service now
mhm.
for the past 8 years, and it has grew beyond my imagination. And now I employ people.
That is cool, man. That is cool.
So I got my hands on the book because he's a great friend, and he handed me the book, telling me that it was a great book. And I said, "Do people still read books out here?" I said, "I don't know about that, man." And he said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah, sure." And I took it. He gave me the book, and I read it, and I ended up getting hooked and finishing it pretty swiftly.
Hey, do you sound like
Like you
I
said,
did? Yeah.
it was pretty much a page turner. So I found myself running home for work or waiting for the weekend to come so I could log in like a series.
Hey, I did the same thing, man. I was like, I was so gone when I first got past the first 10 page. He sent me like the previews of it, and he was like, "Man, check this book out." I was like, "All right, cool. I'm gonna check the book out." I started checking it out, and he only had the snippets and the previews of it. And I got mad. I was like, "Dude, so how you gonna just send me this?" He's like, "Oh man, I'm still editing it right now, but I'll send you the rest later." I'm like, "Man." So I was just like you. And then too, he told me like what was crazy about it as I got through reading the book. He told me that one of the characters was actually based off of you.
Oh yeah, that's how he drew me in with it too.
Yeah. You couldn't wait to get to the part that it was you, and then you was trying to see,
Yeah,
hey, where I'm gonna come
I,
in at.
I found one character that could have been me, but the history didn't line up. So I was like, this could be me, but the history don't line up as
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
reading it.
yeah. So let's get off into it. You know what I'm saying? So I'm gonna ask you a couple questions, and then we go from there. Like, so what did like the Violet Lighthouse symbolize for you personally, as you read the story?
Symbolized.
Yeah, for as like, like what did it mean for you? Like why did it, even though you know Karaji, what kept you drawn into reading this book? What did it really um what
It just
value did it bring to you?
it became real life, and the journey the young man embarked on just drew me in.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the journey the young brother was on caused me. I seen it as it was a real life story, and I've seen these experiences time and time again.
Hmm.
So
Yeah,
seeing him go on the journey, it just I guess it draw me in, and I wanted to go on the journey with him and see how it ended.
Yeah,
So you
yeah,
find yourself either saying no or rooting for him. Yeah, come on, man.
yeah. You know, and you know what I'm saying? Definitely from the perspective of like growing up in for me, you know what I'm saying, I grew up in St. Louis, Missouri, where it's like real hard, real tough, like grew up in the streets, different type of stuff like that. And I think that like so you tell me like, did you feel like some of these characters kind of like symbolize some of the people that we see in the streets today, where you get lost, you go over
Oh,
here?
oh yeah, most definitely. Even the main character, I could relate because I know how it feels to be raised up one way and then have life happen to you and all that challenge and then everything that you believe challenged.
Yeah,
So I could relate to the main character also because I know what it feels like to turn your back on everything you ever believed and try to go find your own way, even if it ain't the best way and the best path to go on. And I also can relate that having tons of friends that will lead you the wrong way, thinking they're doing you a service.
yeah, yeah, yeah. You know, and then one of the things that I found that was super interesting in it is just like what you saying. It's like, you know, you find so many different friends out here that'll lead you down a path, and it's not because they actually think that they telling you something wrong. It's because
Exactly.
you know what I'm saying. It's because they
Mhm.
actually end up being hurt. You know what I'm saying, and they got that hurt inside of them, and they think they doing the right thing. So like what, like, you know what I'm saying, what's some of the best stuff inside of here, like far as like what message do you think that this book can be able to relate to anybody that would be able to read?
Um, I think the message, if you could take something away from it, well, first is try not to leave your first love, which is what everything that was instilled in him. And then second would be to choose your friends wisely
Yeah,
and try to do your best to stay on the right path, even when life circumstances happen to you.
yeah, yeah, I agree with you. You know, one of the things that the book also kind of like touched in on was, is like, you know, you got the beliefs that you grow up in church, and then
Mhm.
you got the beliefs of like this conscious community, where you got the conscious in the Christianity or whatever, the biblical thing. And let me just ask you, do you see a difference in those communities, or do you see, like, how do you take, because all of them for me, I say, you know, you can find good in anything.
Mhm.
How do you think that these two worlds can be able to collide together, or are they even two different worlds?
They're two different worlds because you got one world where they're using crystals and things that's of creation, and they're basically worshiping that and telling him that this is going to fix you and this is all you need. And once you kind of look through it and peel through the pages of what they're offering, it's really just another hustle, another scheme. Whereas you have the other side is faith in something higher. So
Yeah,
they will always collide. They're going at each other anyways,
yeah,
and like you said, stems from a place of hurt, disbelief, uh, and just a being in rebellion. And as depicted in the book, which is what he had to later come to realize, is to actually step away and look at your friend's position and where they are in life and where the other side is in life and where they're going, which is what he had to do. Hey, these guys over here sitting here on the couch getting high as a kite, and all they're doing is complaining and blaming the world, while these other people are over here that we're hating so much are actually seeking to do the best that they can and living a prosperous life.
yeah, yeah. You know what I'm saying? That's crazy that you said that, because it's like you will think that with those type of people, when you're talking about that, where you praising this, you actually end up being worldly. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying? You're actually in the world and you're praising something else. You're praising the things that are in the world instead of being able to praise God. You know what I'm
yeah.
saying?
You're ended
That's a
up praising the creation instead of the creator.
talk about that. Hey, talk about that. That's some real stuff right there. And so even with the thing, not trying to give too much of the book, but you know what I'm saying? That young man had to go through something to be able to then realize it. And I know that when we first started this show that you talked about like how you went through being incarcerated and it changed your life. And so talk about how like something like that can change your life and how it can turn you around and even
I pretty
to
much
like
did the same thing the young man did in the book. I renounced everything that I believed in and said there wasn't no God because of the circumstances that I was placed in which I would rather die. So it was kind of the opposite, even though before I was actually shipped away, I was placed in the place of a position of leadership and actually teaching and speaking as well at a very, very young age, but just turned 21, and which I never asked for, but it just was a need, and I just somehow was called. I can't explain it, and I was being used at that age. But once I finally got shipped away, and seeing how far I was, how deep I was, how long I was going to have to be gone, and how far they sent me away, I kind of got angry and I started doing the same thing, saying there wasn't no God. And I was combative for a very long time, which caused me to waste a lot of time that I was in there. And it was only towards the end where I had an encounter with God. So many people can go through 10 years and come out the exact same. So oftentimes people say, oh, well, you changed because you went to prison for such a long time. That's not the case. I actually had an encounter with God and an experience where I was transformed and my mind was renewed and I became a different individual. Whereas our point is that's not the case. It's not just because I went to prison, because there are many individuals that go to prison and they come out the same or even worse. So it's
mm,
not just a long sentence that transforms you. And some people may be able to make up on their own mind to get out and go a different direction on their own without the encounter or what I went through. But I had an experience with God, so I try to always uplift them and give them the credit for everything that I've been through. But there
man.
was a time where I was renouncing God and saying there wasn't no God and challenging everything I ever believed in, ever read. And because I was somewhat familiar with the scriptures, I was able to even be more combative
Flip
with
that
those
thing.
individuals. Yeah, I try to ask them the toughest questions possible that I know they didn't have an answer to. But throughout the course of time, uh, later on, the scriptures answered all my questions without me even really having to answer them. Just as I began in my journey, all the questions I was combating them with at one point or another, just from reading on my own, I got the answer to it. For example, when I was saying there was no God and what about all the other countries, so on and so forth. I just read a scripture that said the sun, the moon, and all everything else gives a testify to God. It testifies with God. Or another scripture said, in the past times, God spoke and dealt with his people this way, but in the last days, he speaks this way. So that answered another question because I used to combat like, oh man, that's a bunch of fairy tales. God spoke to them people directly. You expect me to believe that, and He's not doing it now? Why is that? So eventually, that same scripture answered that question that I was being combat, that I was using as a stone to throw at other people.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think we all go through that right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, well, I'll say this, especially when you are chosen. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? When you are chosen, you definitely. I know in my journey, I definitely used to, you know what I'm saying, combat back with people and be like, oh, let me throw this rock over here because most of the people that I used to encounter really didn't read their Bibles. And the crazy part about it is that I used to read it. So
Yeah,
I knew it from a perspective of not just learning it on Sundays from somebody else. I knew it for myself. So I knew how to like turn that stuff around for somebody and then be like, what's
right.
that? And they had no clue on what it is that I was even talking about. But yeah, I feel that story, brother. That's a real story right there.
Yes, sir. Maybe I'll get him the right mind next.
Yeah, right. You, hey, look, that's what need to happen. You need to let him
Yeah.
write yours next, man, because this one definitely was, like I say, it's a page turner. Outside of Jaden, right?
Hmm.
Which character to you stood out the most?
Oh, his friend that he parted ways with, and then he got back in touch with, who was there for him, who used to kind of look up to him,
Yeah,
who position
yeah,
switch. That's
yeah,
who I thought I could have been at first when Jaden came and talking to him, and he was like, "Oh no, man, you got it wrong. Look at this." He gave him more information that it wasn't really shared in the church, and I thought that could have been me because I found myself doing that with a lot of my guys when I used to be in the trucks running my lawn service routes. But again, his background didn't stand out, so he was somebody that definitely stood out to me, as
yeah.
well as myself. But that was a character that I really liked.
Yeah, yeah, I feel you because he was definitely throwing that brother some game, and it's just crazy how, what I'm saying, at one point in time in your life where you could be looking at somebody like they like a little homie to you, and
Uh
then
huh.
God will raise them up so high that they become the big homie, and you the one
Right.
that need to sit back and need to listen to them now. And that's a humbling experience. I
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got a little humbled in that joint when he was doing that. Hey, what's up with it, man? What's happening?
Say hi, Lil. That's Mr. Jamal. We talking about Mr. Carl McLean book.
What's going on,
Do you
man? How
like
you
reading
feeling?
some books? This is Level Up Lil.
Yeah,
Let me get
wave
that.
at the
What's that?
people. Say what's up.
Say hi.
Yeah. So let me ask you this: was it moments in the book that made you reflect on your own spiritual path or your own
All the
sense of
time.
purpose?
All the time.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Like I said, it definitely made me wanna be able to, like I say, just keep on looking at it, and it made me look in my own life. Like you said, it kind of, when you do read it, when I read it, it definitely made me feel like, dang, is he talking to me? It was kind of like it's kind of like, how when you go to church and you feel convicted and the pastor start
Yeah.
talking,
Yeah.
you like, man, this word for me, this one for me. And
Yeah. He talking to me. I need to get up out of here. I ain't trying to hear that.
man, I'm telling you. So let me ask you this. Um, would you why would you suggest this book to other readers and anybody who's going through anything? Why would you suggest this book to them?
Uh, like any other form of entertainment, it's actually very entertaining, and so it's a great read. It's a page turner, but also with it, so I read many books, especially when I was in prison. I read the hood books that I got tired of, and I just began to read fantasy books. I was a book connoisseur, reading all kind of books. Um, so it's not just a book that we can relate to as far as a negative hood book that talks about that glorifies all the drug dealing and so on and so forth, but it's actually a book that we can relate to that has a positive message and
Yeah,
and focuses on what can happen when we decide to make a change.
yeah. I think we need more books like this. You know what
Yes.
I'm saying? It kind of gave me like that, and not saying this in that sense, but more so like, you know, I grew up in a time where when I used to watch TV, you used to see something black people or people being positive. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
Used to turn on the TV and be able to be
The,
like,
the
dang,
Rock. When you watch a show like The Rock,
yeah, you know what I'm
Family
saying?
Matters. Family
Yeah,
Matters.
yeah, family matters. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? They go through their little things, and Eddie will go down his little path and try to find his way. But then at the end of it, you know what I'm saying? He get back rooted into that stuff, and so
They had
definitely
messages, and now we're just glorifying drug dealing, like power and stuff like that.
right, man, and that's what we like push now, that type of narrative, the drug dealing, the killing, the this, and it's still good stories out here. And I think that, what I'm saying, with the Violet Lighthouse, um it definitely can be able to change the mindset of people and what they're thinking. You know what I'm saying? And so I'm not gonna keep you too home, but I'm gonna ask you this last question. If you could ask the author one question about the book, what would it be?
If I could ask, how was he inspired to create such amazing characters and intertwine and weave a story with a message to that degree and extent? I found it amazing. How did you do that?
Yeah.
Where did they come from? How did you create relatable characters and tell a story like that?
Ain't that something? Oh, before I leave, how did you feel about your character? How did you feel about your character?
Oh, I was humbled that that I was used in that way.
Yeah, yeah. I feel that. I feel that. Is it hard? You know, is the humbling part is that you lived your life, so it's hard to see yourself through the eyes of other people.
No, I guess it's just humbling to see myself putting in the pages of a book, same as on screen,
Yeah, for sure.
and the character is actually real. No, but um, I never sought out to be in a position where I could give opportunities. So
Yeah,
that's humbling still in itself, and to see it portrayed in a book where that person's given the opportunity, uh, I don't take it lightly.
ain't that something that in this book that you're giving an opportunity to somebody?
Right,
That is actually really cool that somebody sees you as a person who gives opportunity to brothers who want to be able to restart their lives. And
right. Even if it was only a temporary thing, which happens all the time with
yeah,
me in real life. So I don't take it for granted, and I pray for wisdom all the time because uh, the character in the book really was seeking the opportunity and didn't take it for granted. Whereas I have other people that come seeking opportunities and they take it for granted and they force me to fire them. They fire themselves, and that's very difficult to do.
yeah, yeah. How many?
So it's
Let
not,
me, go ahead, go
go
ahead,
ahead.
finish. I was going to say so.
It's not an easy position to be in.
Yeah. How many Jadens come through your program through how many Jadens have you seen come through?
A lot of them.
Yeah.
I've been in business now for about, let me see, 19, 18, 19, 19, about 6 or 7 years now. So in that time, I've uh, I've seen a few. So it's rare because he actually took advantage of the opportunity, moved on, progressed, and went on to bigger and better things. So we have a few that's here now, and we've had some that's come in and gone on to bigger and better things. So it's a blessing to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
I can't put
So
a number on it, but we've had quite a few, and we've had quite a few that we've had more. Uh, we've had more go backwards than go forwards, sadly.
yeah. Yeah. True that,
But the
but go
ones
ahead.
that do come along and do well, it's a blessing to see. It's kind of like a proud father moment if you have someone who came in that doesn't know nothing, and then after given the opportunity, in spite of that, to come out and see them in a few months excelling in their trade with what you've taught them, you can only just smile inside. Like, look at that boy go. I got
Yeah.
to give him a raise.
Yeah.
Also, it's one time I gave somebody advice, and years later I heard I did what you told me. I went out here and I got my CDLs. I was like, I told you that. Well, that's great to see him actually take heed to what I say, apply it to his life, and go better himself. That's a blessing, also.
Yeah, for sure, man. Well, I just want to tell you thank you. I know you got, just I know I appreciate your time, taking the time to be able to do this because I know you got a lot of things you probably could be doing right now. So, just really want to thank you for your time, brother, for real.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So, like I said, this is Mr. Carlos Giddings, and I appreciate you being able to come on. And we are talking about the Violet Lighthouse book, man. This book is like I said, this book is a page turner. We suggest
It
it.
definitely is.
Yeah, for real, man. It shocked me too. Like I keep on saying, it shocked me because I'm like you. How you write this story that just had this stuff, these twists, these turns, and then it turned right back into something else, and it just ended up like boom. It was really touching. You know what I'm saying? I just want to suggest that anybody go and get it. You heard it from me and Carlos, man. We telling y'all go get this book, read this
I,
book.
I'll, I'll say it like this. I have series that I sometimes binge on. I get hooked on them, whether they're good or bad, negative ones or bad, good ones. I was hooked the same way on this, ready to get back and read it, and don't want nobody to bother me once I start.
Boy, you sound like me. I'm trying to tell you, I was all in it, boy, all in it.
Yes, sir.
I was missing time spending with my kids. I'm like, hey, y'all do whatever y'all doing. I'm reading this book for a second, and it was just like that, man. And so, just tell everybody, we gonna tell everybody go and support this book and appreciate your time again, Carlos.
Yes, sir.
Appreciate
You have a blessed evening.
you as well, brother. Have a great one.
Good long. Yes,
All right,
sir.
stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there, stay there.
Okay.